Welcome to AmeenAcademy.com. In history of Hyderabad Nizam, let us do some interesting factor about their history. Let me to read detail. The history of Nizams of Hyderabad includes the following events. Founding of the Asaf Jahi dynasty. In 1724, Mir Kamuruddin Khan, a former Mughal viceroy, established the Asaf Jahi dynasty and became the first Nizam of Hyderabad. The Nizams ruled Hyderabad for 2 centuries until India gained independence in 1947. The Nizams were known for their patronage of culture, art, literature, and cuisine, and for supporting free education. Hyderabad's integration into India. In 1947, Nizam declared his intention to remain independent but signed a standstill agreement with India to keep trade and supplies flowing. Violence escalated between the Nizam's private Razakar army and the people who wanted to join India. The Indian government launched a Operation Polo and the Indian army moved into Hyderabad state in September 1948. The Nizam surrendered and signed the Instruments of Accession integrating Hyderabad in India. Here are some of the Nizams of Hyderabad. Asaf Jah I, that is Mir Kamuruddin Khan, ruled from 1724 to 1748. Asaf Jah II, that is Mir Nizam Ali Khan, ruled from 1762 to 1803. Asaf Jah III, Mir Akbar Ali Khan, ruled from 1803 to 1829. Asaf Jah IV, the Mir Farkunda Ali Khan, ruled from 1829 to 1857. In 1724, Asaf Jah I defeated Mubariz Khan to establish autonomy over the Deccan Suba, named the region Hyderabad Deccan, and started what came to be known as the Asaf Jahi dynasty. Subsequent rulers retained the title Nizam ul-Mulk and were referred to as Asaf Jahi Nizams or Nizam of Hyderabad. Now we'll discuss about brief history of Nizams of Hyderabad. Here, lavish, opulent, ostentatious, and extravagant are just some words that come to mind when you think of the Nizams that ruled the erstwhile princely state of Hyderabad for nearly about 224 years. 7 Nizams, who were also known as Asaf Jahis, ruled Hyderabad. The 7th Asaf Jah Nawab Mir Osman Ali Khan Bahadur reigned till 1948 after the independence of India. From 1724 to 1948, the Hyderabad underwent immense growth both culturally and economically. The Nizams were great patrons of literature, art, architecture, and food, and were counted amongst the wealthiest people in the world. In fact, Asaf Jah VII was ranked the 5th wealthiest person in the history of the world. Within his fortune pinned about US dollar 225 billion at its height, the adjusted today's value. Nizam chose not to join the Indian Union after India gained the independence in against August 1947. However, his rule ended in September 1948 when the Indian Army launched Operation Polo led by Sardar Vallabhbhai Patel when Minister of Home Affairs and Deputy Prime Minister of India. The state of Hyderabad was invaded and the Nizam was forced to step down. The Asaf Jahis were allowed to keep their titles even after their reign ended. Asaf Jah I chose his grandson Nawab Bir Barakat Ali Khan Bahadur Mukarram Jah as his successor, but he was Nizam only in name. Ancestry of Nizams. Hailing from the reign around Samarkand in modern-day Uzbekistan, the Asaf Jahi was originally Turkic dynasty. Khaja Abid, grandfather of the first Nizam, was born in Aliabad near Samarkand in the Kingdom of Bukhara. In 1655, he visited India for the first time while on his way to Mecca and presented himself at the imperial court of the Mughals. He made a favorable impression on the Mughal emperor and was soon granted many favors and given a robe of honor. He was also offered a position in the emperor's service, which he agreed to take to after his return from Mecca. Thus began the association between the Nizams and Delhi, which would last until the end of the Mughal rule. In 1657, Khaja Abid returned from his pilgrimage and decided to throw in his lot with Aurangzeb. At the time, the latter was the Deccan preparing for the war of succession against his brothers. Aurangzeb gave Khaja Abid, a learned man who was equally versed in the art of war, an important position in the imperial army. The portrait gallery inside Chowmahalla Palace is a very nice palace in Hyderabad. After successfully defeating his brother to claim the throne, Aurangzeb made Khaja Abid the governor of Ajmer and subsequently the Multan with the title Khalid Khan. Khalid Khan later died while leading the imperial army against the Qutub Shahi king during the siege of Golconda in 1687. The Mughal Empire. When Shah Jahan died in 1666, Aurangzeb consolidated his power as emperor and spent most of his reign expanding the borders of his empire. During that period, Hyderabad, ruled by the Qutub Shahi dynasty, was one of the richest cities in the area due to the Kolar Main and on the banks of the Krishna River, which was the most lucrative diamond mine of its time. The city was reportedly impregnable due to the majestic Golconda fort. The dynasty is born. The Deccan region and had its own dynasties and its fair share of rebellions against the mighty kingdom that aimed to capture it. In a backdrop like this, what the Deccan really needed after the weakening of the Mughal Empire, which held it for a short period of time, was a stable regional force. The decline of Mughal rule and the rise of the Asaf Jahi dynasty are inextricably linked, and the Asaf Jahis arrived in Hyderabad and made in their own, much like the Mughals did with Delhi, are not content to the mere subedars of a larger kingdom. A succession of political developments resulted in the Nizams ruling over the Deccan. It all started with Aurangzeb gained control over Golconda Fort and subsequently Hyderabad. With the conquest of Deccan and then the south, Aurangzeb succeeded in spreading Mughal rule across the subcontinent. After Khalid Khan's death in 1687, his grandson Kamaruddin caught Aurangzeb's eye when he displayed considerable skills as a warrior. Aurangzeb gave him the title Chin Khalid Khan, that is, boy swordsman, at the tender age of 19. Farrukh Siar, Mughal emperor and Aurangzeb's grandson, have Kamaruddin the higher title of Nizam ul-Mulk Fateh Jung in 1713 and appointed him Subedar of 6 provinces and Faujdar of Karnataka. Kamaruddin proved himself to be an excellent administrator. However, the Sayyid brothers, two powerful generals, conspired to stop him from governing the Deccan. Early in the reign of Muhammad Shah, Aurangzeb's seventh successor, the Sayyids removed Kamaruddin from post of Faujdar of Moradabad and sent him to Malwa. There too he proved his worth. Alarmed by his rise, the Sayyids urged him to reign and move to some other province. Disgusted with these political games, Kamaruddin resigned from his post and headed for the Deccan, where he intended to take up the post of viceroy once more. Meanwhile, the Sayyids died and new emperor Muhammad Shah offered him the high rank of Wazir. However, he was disappointed by the emperor's close associates and therefore left the post of Wazir and marched to Aurangabad Abul Hasan Tana Shah. The emperor instructed Mubariz Khan, the then Subedar of the Deccan, to oppose the Kamaruddin. In the ensuing battle, Mubariz Khan was defeated and killed, which resulted the Kamaruddin establishing his supremacy in the Deccan. He subsequently streamlined the administrative machinery and finances of the Deccan. Muhammad Shah finally realized that there was nothing to be gained by war and conferred Kamaruddin with the title of the Asaf Jah, or equal to Asaf, who was the Grand Vizier or Prime Minister in the court of King Solomon. Asaf Jah was the highest title that would be awarded to the subsequent of Mughal Empire. Although for all practical purposes Kamaruddin became an independent ruler from then on, he never openly declared the independence from the Delhi. Thus was born the Asaf Jahi dynasty that ruled Hyderabad until 1948. So far we discussed about an introductional part of Nizam of Hyderabad. In future videos, we will discuss about subsequent Nizams history. We have done. Please subscribe our YouTube channel.